No one noticed the robbery when it began. That was the first mistake everyone made. Assuming a heist always starts with noise, guns, and chaos. This one began with silence. With a man standing across the street from a private bank, watching the building like it was alive, breathing, waiting. His name was Armand, though no one in the city truly knew that. To the police, he was a rumor. To criminals, he was a warning. And to the four people about to enter that bank with him, he was either a genius or a dead man walking. The plan had taken 2 years, 2 full years of watching guards change shifts, tracking delivery vans, studying blueprints stolen from a careless contractor, and memorizing every blind spot the cameras couldn't see. The bank wasn't famous. That was why it was perfect. No media attention, no tourists, no obvious reason to hide what it hid. But beneath the marble floors and polite counters was a vault that didn't officially exist. Inside it were assets never listed on paper, unclaimed gold, black money, sealed evidence from cases that powerful people wanted erased. If they succeeded, they wouldn't just be rich, they would be untouchable. Inside a rented apartment 3 blocks away, the team waited. Maya checked the time again, fingers trembling despite her calm face. She was the driver and the escape strategist, the kind of woman who could navigate alleyways blindfolded. Kabir, the tech expert, sat on the floor surrounded by screens, listening to police frequencies through an earpiece. Yusuf cleaned his gun the 3rd time, not because it needed cleaning, but because fear had a way of hiding inside repetitive motions. And Armand stood near the window, silent, watching the street like he was already attending a funeral. "This is the last chance to walk away," Armand said, finally, without turning around. "Once we cross that door, there's no undo." No one answered. Silence was consent. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the streetlights flickered, just as planned. Kabir's signal, the cameras looped, the back alley gate unlocked itself with a soft mechanical sigh. They moved fast, but not rushed, professional, invisible. Inside the bank, the air felt different, thicker, colder, as if the building didn't want them there. Maya felt it immediately. Places that held secrets always did. The first alarm was bypassed easily. The second took longer than expected. Kabir's fingers flew across his tablet, sweat forming on his temples. "Someone updated the firmware," he whispered. "Recently." Armand's jaw tightened. Updates meant awareness. Awareness meant risk. Then a sound, soft, metallic, like something shifting deep inside the building. "Did you hear that?" Yusuf murmured. "No," Armand said. "Keep moving." They reached the hidden elevator, the one not listed on any blueprint. Armand pressed a sequence that didn't exist publicly. The doors opened slowly, revealing a descent into darkness. As they went down, the temperature dropped with each floor. Maya's breath fogged. Her heart began to pound, not from fear of getting caught, but from something else, a feeling that they weren't alone. The vault corridor was wrong. Too clean, too quiet. No guards, no motion sensors triggering. It felt staged. Kabir frowned. This shouldn't be this easy. Nothing dangerous ever was. The vault door stood before them, massive, black, covered in markings most people would assume were decorative. Armand knew better. Symbols weren't decoration, they were warnings. As Kabir began cracking the final lock, Yusuf shifted nervously. "Armand," he said softly, "you never told us how you found this place." Armand didn't answer. The vault opened. Inside was not what they expected. There were no piles of gold, no stacks of cash. Instead were sealed crates, dozens of them, each marked with dates, names, and case numbers going back decades. Evidence, crimes buried, lives erased. And in the center of the room stood a single chair, bolted to the floor, facing a camera that was very much active. Maya felt sick. "This isn't a vault," she whispered. "This is a confession room." That's when the doors slammed shut. Alarms screamed to life. Red lights flooded the corridor. Kabir shouted, fingers slamming uselessly against his screen. "This system just locked me out. This is military grade." A calm voice echoed through hidden speakers. "Good evening," it said. "Thank you for revealing yourselves." Armand closed his eyes. Screens lit up around the room, showing police command centers, officials watching calmly, waiting. This wasn't a robbery, it was a trap. "You see," the voice continued, "we needed proof that this vault existed, and you brought it to us." Yusuf raised his gun, panicking. "We're dead," he said. "We're all dead." "No," Armand said quietly. "You're not." They stared at him. "This was never about money," Armand continued. "It was about exposure." He turned towards the camera. "My family disappeared because of what's in those boxes. Tonight, the world finds out." Kabir looked at him in horror. "You used us." Armand nodded. "And I'm sorry." The screens changed again, now broadcasting live feeds to news networks across Europe. Files opening, names scrolling, faces of politicians, judges, criminals long protected by silence. The system began dumping everything automatically, unstoppable. Outside, police sirens wailed, but not towards the bank, towards the powerful people now trying to flee. Maya laughed, a broken, disbelieving sound. "You planned this knowing we'd be caught." "Yes," Armand said, "because someone had to stay behind to make it believable." Yusuf stepped back. No, that wasn't the deal." "There was never a deal," Armand replied, gently. "Only a choice." Before anyone could react, Armand pressed a hidden switch on his watch. The vault door behind the crates slid open, revealing an emergency tunnel. Kabir's eyes widened. "You built an exit." Armand said, "For you, not for me." Maya hesitated only a second before grabbing Kabir's arm. Yusuf followed, shaking. As they disappeared into the tunnel, Maya looked back. "What about you?" she shouted. Armand smiled sadly. Some stories need a villain to be believed. The tunnel sealed. Minutes later, police stormed the vault to find Armand sitting calmly in the chair, hands folded, waiting. He didn't resist. He didn't speak. He only looked into the camera, into millions of eyes watching worldwide. The trial was called the biggest exposure scandal in modern history. Governments fell, careers ended. Vaults like this were discovered across countries. And somewhere in the chaos, 3 criminals vanished without a trace. Years later, Maya would watch the documentary in a small European town, her face older, her name different. When the screen showed Armand's arrest, she whispered softly, "You won." Some say Armand is still alive. Some say he planned his disappearance too. Others claim the bank is cursed, that anyone who tries to rebuild it hears alarms at night, even though the building is empty. But one thing is certain, the greatest robbery in history wasn't about stealing money, it was about stealing the truth back.